Recording is on.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Do y'all guys see that?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah. Not yet. Share my screen. Come on now. Don't show off today. Don't do it. Okay, there we go. All right, so these are the grand solar squares. And to the people who are in here that know about me, I'm obsessed with the grand solar squares. The grand solar squares are the lifeblood to me. They really give you so much more information than reading any of the books. The books are great, but the grand solar squares are for me. Oh my goodness, don't start doing that. Where did it go? The grand solar squares are the holiest grail. So we're going to look at this is the pure spirit. Now, the pure spirit is life before chaos, right? So this is telling us, about life. Some say the garden, but it's just life before we came to this plane. And this is the Ace of Hearts. This is the first step into this plane. So this was the Ace of Hearts that left the garden and came to this plane. So that tells you a lot about the Ace of Hearts if you know Ace of Hearts, right? Because that would be confusion. If you left paradise and now you're the first person that stepped into paradise. And why did the Ace of Hearts leave paradise? What happened that the Ace of Hearts had to leave the one? You know what I mean? And it left the one. And when we go down, it left the one. Now it's the three that sits in that place. So this tells us about where we are. The Ace of Hearts was the one, and everything was perfect. Everything was, it had everything it needed. But something happened, and that's a whole different class, that it left paradise, and now the Three of Hearts is the first card on the Grand Solar Squares. Now that says a lot too. Just when you think about the energy of the Three of Hearts, and you think about the energy of the Ace of Hearts, that says a lot. And that's the kind of information that we find on the Grand Solar Squares. When we're looking to figure something out, we start where the cards are sitting, which the Three of Hearts is sitting in Mercury. This is the Mercury line. Then we go to the Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And along the bottom, it's the same going across. On the top row, this is the crown line, and this is Pluto. This is trans Pluto, and this is Vulcan. So, we're talking about today. What I try to remember her name, but it is just so freaking amazing that I can't remember her name. Her name is Amy. Amy Amy Coney Barrett. I thought that was so interesting because I said that's Coney Island. Who names it? Who names? Maybe it's her last. Maybe that's her maiden name. But she's a queen of clubs, and they're, I guess, because she's appointed by Trump, they're figuring she's going to be a conservative and she's going to come on and overturn, um, you know, I guess what's it, Roe v. Wade or in different things. So that's, I'm pretty sure where, and I haven't even looked at anything, but I'm pretty sure just because he's a conservative, they're going to be up against anybody that he puts up to say that she's going to come in and overturn things. But when we look at the Queen of Clubs, we look at the Queen of Clubs, and she sits in Mercury and she sits in Mars. So the Queen of Clubs, that means that the Queen of Clubs is an action person. They take action with their words. Mercury is communications, and Mars is that time of life where we get familiar with our male, with our male, we have our female and our male receptivity. So Mars is that time of life where we start, developing that. But it's so funny that the Three of Hearts is the card that is challenging the Queen of Hearts, and that's the first card um out of the garden, and it's in chaos. So right off the bat, the Queen of Hearts the Queen of Clubs got a little bit going on right off the jump street because she's challenged by confusion, right? But her supporting karma cards are Ten of Diamonds, and all of this stuff will make sense. But when we look at her age spread, we can look and see. And if we know Queen of Hearts, we know that the Queen of Hearts is a mother to the world. We know that the Queen of Hearts represents the doula, the healer. She's intuition on high. She is definitely someone that does a lot, can overdo taking care of people. And that has a lot to do with this card right here, the Jack of Hearts. And we'll definitely get into that. But when we look at her life path sitting in Mercury, this is Mercury talks about the first 13 years of your life, and it talks about communication, and it talks about the relationships that we have. That normally you think about your childhood, and you think about your childhood as beneficial. It's your first, your friends, and then going to school, and you think about at home with family, and you think about those kind of good memories. So she sits in that place. So depending on her foundation, that's where she starts at, because that's where she sits in life. But her Mercury cause is Ten of Spade, and Ten of Spade is, when we look at tens are one, with your higher self. When you see the 10, tens don't come back here with karma. 10 is starting a new cycle. So when you look at the 10 of spades, you're looking at all of the suits are encapsulated in there because spades represent all of the suits. So when you're looking at the 10 of spades, you're looking at a pretty powerful energy. And that's her Mercury card. And Ten of Spades is about putting in the work. If you put in the work, you can have pretty much anything that you want, because it's that card. It gives you that. It gives you that, that power, you know. Then when we look at her Venus, that's the Five of Clubs. And the Five of Clubs are here to live. They're here, they're not side chair people. They want to live. They want to get out there and they want to experience the world. When you look at the Three of Diamonds, which is her Mars card and also Donald Trump's card, it gets interesting. That means she has a relationship with that energy. She understands that energy. That's her Mars. So, that's saying that, the Three of Diamonds, threes are interesting because threes is the kind of energy that, sorry about that. Threes are that kind of energy that are pretty even. A three can do a lot of things at one time and recover and just keep it moving. Now, three as a friend could, be, caring and supportive. And on the other side, they could be telling you off. And it's all the same to them. Threes don't take anything personal. It's like they're ruled by Mars and they don't want to, peace to a three is a form of weakness. So if they tell you off, they're good and they're keeping it moving, right? And we can totally see that in our president, Mr. Trump. And that adds a little fire to the Queen of Clubs, right? Then her Jupiter is the Ace of Spades. Now, the Ace of Spades is a card of transformation. It's the card of all metaphysical sciences. And the Ace of Spades is a very, it's a extremely giving card, a caring card, a loving card. The challenging karma card tells a lot about the Ace of Spades. It's the Seven of Hearts, and it's the card of allowing, and it's a card of you know, boundaries. And an Ace of Spade, an evolved Ace of Spade will have to have that because the Ace of Spades desire is to have that relationship. The relationship that they desire is someone who is unconditional, someone that can see things like they see things. Now, just think about that. Who can see stuff like an Ace of Spades? So you could think about what kind of relationship they would be able to have. Because who can see they are the ones that expose everything. They are the diggers of all the metaphysical sciences that we know. They have access to. They travel through different universes. They're extremely powerful. So having a relationship is like wow. So that's why a lot of people find the Ace of Spades. Some say difficult, but it's because their desire is for you to accept them unconditionally as they are. And that's kind of hard because they do disappear. They are always, they're very mysterious. So I find that very interesting that that's the Three of Diamonds, Mercury, and that's her um, Jupiter, and that gives them something in common. You know what I mean? Because we could look at Donald Trump's relationships. He definitely, to me, would be someone who has Ace of Spades relationships. He's been married how many times? So I think he definitely plays that Ace of Spades. People think he's not intelligent, but I can absolutely tell you that he knows more than he'll ever be able to tell. And that's why he's such a great businessman, and that's why people value him because of that Ace of Spades. And then there's Saturn, which is so funny because the challenging karma card is Saturn, right? So that gives the Queen of Clubs, where the Queen of Clubs really has to have boundaries. They have to have boundaries, but they have to allow people to be who they are. They can't have preconceived notions and ideas about people. Then their what's I said Saturn, right? Their Uranus is the Seven of Diamonds. Now we know the Seven of Diamonds is a extremely misunderstood card. It's a very powerful card. It's the millionaire's card because it has to put in the work. The Seven of Diamonds says Venus, Venus. So the Seven of Diamonds is about all things love, all things giving, all things kindness. When you think about it, you think about Venus, Venus. You think about it's the home. You think about it's the home, and what they want to do in the home is take care of the home and take care of people that they love. That's what the Seven of Diamonds came to this plane for, sitting in Venus, Venus. But we know that the Seven of Diamonds is a semi-fixed card. This shares places with the Nine of Hearts every other year. And the Nine of Hearts sits Saturn, Saturn. So you have Venus, Venus, and then you have Saturn, Saturn. So you would say the universe has a sense of humor because that's really a lot. That's a lot. Now, looking at it from a cardology perspective, it makes perfect sense because I know Seven of Diamonds and I was married to a Nine of Hearts. So that is a very powerful energy. And they literally change. They do. They literally change. On the low side, the Nine of Hearts will feel extremely sorry for themselves because the year that they are Seven of Diamonds, they're giving, giving, giving. But the year that they become the Nine of Hearts and Saturn, they can start looking and saying, yeah, y'all guys don't appreciate me. So that Seven of Diamonds energy is really powerful in Uranus for the Queen of Clubs because that means it's talking about when Uranus doesn't ask you, Uranus is moving you forward. So as a Seven of Diamonds, you're being pushed, and as a Nine of Hearts, you're being pushed. That's a lot. because you're being moved forward with both of those energies tied together. They're soulmates. They're soulmates. So, that's definitely a powerful energy that they share together because they're Queen of Clubs and Trump is a Three of Diamonds. And the card that supports the Seven of Diamonds is the Seven of Hearts. And the supporting karma card is the Ace of Spades. So when we tie all of these karmas together, we get a snapshot of what the Queen of Clubs is supposed to be doing and what the Three of Diamonds is supposed to be doing once they unlock their karma cards, right? Their Neptune is the Five of Spades. So Neptune is that planet that people say it's illusions, it's gases, it has all of that mystique and stuff about it, but it has no floor. So you have a Five of Spades in Neptune, and the Five of Spades is the shakeup. It's like the Five of Clubs. It wants to travel, it wants to experience life, and because it's a spade, it's looking for something, and it's sitting in Neptune. And Neptune, if you don't vet it, it can cloud you. It can blindside you. So you have to pay attention. So with the Five of Spades being there, that desire for traveling and the desire to be out there, that she will have would just say that, hey, you need to pay attention. Traveling is something that you can do because the Four of Diamonds is the supporting card. And that's Four of Diamonds is saying, you can do this if you prepare, but it being in Neptune. Neptune is something we always want to look at because Neptune whispers, and you have to make sure that what's being whispered to you is valid because you are perceiving outward and Neptune is whispering inwardly to you. So that's the key to Neptune is spirituality. Neptune, you have got to vet it. You have got to take it as far into the spiritual ethers as you possibly can because you're thinking something and that other person has no clue what you're talking about because they're not in Neptune with you. So wherever your Neptune card is, you always want to pay attention to you and not to the other person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Pluto, that's Neptune, right? Pluto is next, right?
Yes.
Pluto is the Jack of Hearts. Now, Pluto is that, just like Uranus, it's that generational planet. So it's a big energy. When Pluto hits something, it's transformed forever. It does not ask you, it doesn't care. It's like, this is what's happening. So it's a Jack of Hearts. Now, the Jack of Hearts is the Christ principle. And the Jack of Hearts came here to own the place that it's in. So the Queen of Clubs, knowing how to unlock that Jack of Hearts, is unstoppable. There's nothing you could do to, Queen of Clubs, if they know how to use their Pluto. Because the Jack of Hearts sitting there, the Jack of Hearts is like you think about a generator in the middle of a building. It's just vibrating. It's taking care of the whole building, but it never moves. It doesn't do anything. It just sits there and vibrates. And what comes from it is healing. When you think about the person that touched the garment, they healed because they just said, if I just touch his garment, I can heal. So the Jack of Clubs comes here to activate you. Whatever you have that you may feel you want to expand upon, the Jack of Hearts is what you use to activate it. Okay. So it being Pluto to the Queen of Clubs, that's a superpower, an extreme superpower on the high side. On the low side, it could be you know, a jack. And it could want to, the Queen of Clubs is known for being around people that could, have, could be little shady characters. They do because they want to save people. And they want to they don't want to sacrifice, but sometimes they sacrifice themselves for people. And that's the low side of the Jack of Hearts, because the Jack of Hearts is not a sacrifice. That's a story that was told, but that's not what the Jack of Hearts came here for. but it's a story that was told because it fits, it makes sense. Of course, if you sacrificing yourself all the time, somebody's benefiting, right? So, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense because you have the seven of hearts that's telling you you're supposed to have boundaries. Boundaries. You can say no. It's okay. It's okay, but that's how you unlock your karmas. The reward is a nine of clubs. Now, nine of clubs is a extremely beneficial card for them, both of them, because it's a nine. And nines are um, big energies. Nines come here to live. Nines, they're universal knowledge because they come here to live. They have insatiable appetites on getting out there in the world and seeing what's going on. So they, but it being a nine of clubs, it's mental. So it's like you can see them just hovering over the planet, just scoping it out to see what adventure they want to go on to get this knowledge. And because it's a nine, it has started at the ace of clubs and it has gone through the eight of clubs. So that's why it's called the graduation. But it also gives it the ability to identify with people. Because if you travel and you are around people, you get a chance to see people. You get a chance to see what makes people tick, what makes them. And that's the nine of clubs. They get a chance to see people. So the nine of clubs is a very caring and giving card because they've seen so much. So being able to use that energy is very beneficial, but you have to let go. And the gotcha is a nine of spade because that's double nine energy. Now the nine of spade is a spade, so it's definitely a different energy. And remember, spades have all of the cards in them, and that's the guru, that's the cosmic lesson. So the nine of spade is teaching the queen of clubs something, and that's about letting go. You have to let go, and the queen of clubs um could have lots of losses in their life, things that um, they have to let go of that they didn't, that, things, tragically, with the nine of clubs, nine of spades. But because it's their guru, chances are that doesn't happen to them because that nine of spades is guiding them. You know what I mean? So the nine of clubs, it being in Mercury, yes, that placement for the nine of clubs means that their childhood is has a lot of losses for a nine of clubs child. Um, you know, um, and with that six of spades supporting it, it says that it's gonna happen. So the nine of clubs and the nine of spades pairing that together are powerful energy, but they're energy of letting go, right? And then the cosmic moon, right? I said the cosmic lesson, right? Is a two of hearts, and that's you know talking about female, receptivity and relationships, and it goes along with the moon and how things change. And because it's a two of hearts, it makes it a little interesting because the two of hearts is another semi-fixed card with the ace of clubs. So you have this semi-fixed energy and you have the moon. Now, the two of hearts wants to be in a relationship. It's a two, and relationships are something that because every time you see a two, it's waiting for opportunity. So, two of hearts is waiting for opportunity to have the relationship that they want. But the ace of clubs is not a relationship card, and they change places every year. So, you have that scattered energy with the seven of diamonds and with the two of hearts that the queen of clubs has to deal with, right? And then the transformation card is the king of hearts. And the king of hearts is a very powerful card. It's a Mars, it's an action card, and the supporting karma cards are nine of spades. So the king of hearts has the attributes of the nine of spades. And it's a big card. It wants to know, it wants to live, it wants to experience. Depending on where your placement is, it's going to tell you what the king of hearts means to you. Now, to add the, the little nuances, the seven of diamonds has a king of hearts in Uranus. So the seven of diamonds has the king of hearts in Uranus. So the seven of diamonds is going to be someone that their father is not in the house or not available, because the king of hearts in Uranus doesn't want to be a dad. You know what I mean? That's not what they want to be. That's they're somebody that this is about adventure. So they could be there, but they're just disconnected. So that adds another layer of you know, intrigue to all of those karmas. And that's how you look at the karmas on the grand solar square to unpack that queen of clubs. So looking at that, you're seeing a very powerful energy. It's a queen, of course she's powerful. She is um clubs, of course. So she's, intuitive. She has all of those energies that she can unlock and use and do the things that she needs to do on the high side. So as an opponent for them to vet and stuff like that, mm, I think she's a very formidable opponent for them to try to discredit. Did everybody understand that? Anybody have any questions about the Queen of Clubs? Am I here by myself?
No,
I don't have a
ma'am.
I don't have a question, but it's interesting when you look at the spread that they have not just two semi-fixed cards, but a fixed card in their spread as well.
Yes.
So it shows definitely to be honest, it's a challenging spread,
Oh yeah.
5, 7s, 9s. I mean,
Yes.
it's an interesting spread.
Absolutely. But you can see the power though, right?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Totally see the power behind her. And if you know Queen of Clubs, they exude that power. They exude that power. They have to get comfortable with it. That, like I said, the three of hearts being a challenging common card says a lot, because the three of hearts would be the card that, if you listen to the story, ate the apple, right? That's how it went. When the ace of hearts was in the garden, it left the garden. It went from 1 to 3. 3 doesn't go into 1, but 1 goes into 3, and we have the three of hearts. Now that's chaos. So you think about what that means, leaving the garden. It's fall. So we think about the three of hearts. It's a 3, and it's a heart. It's emotional. And remember, threes, they're pretty powerful. They're pretty even. What they do, they do. That's why they say, three of hearts exercise their options. But all threes exercise their options. The three of hearts just could be a whore or a slut.
They just have a harder time deciding on an option.
Yeah. They don't have a harder time deciding on the option. They just don't care.
They don't want to.
Yeah, like I said, remember, the threes don't care. You might have a preconceived notion, but threes don't care. It is what it is with a 3. You may not see it that way, but they're perfectly all right. Just like Donald Trump drives people crazy. It is what it is.
I think it's like you said before, the universe is using him to do the work of the universe.
Yes.
She is a queen of club, and that's the mother of intuition. I found that it was very interesting that she has 7 children, and she also comes from a family of 7. I really think in the age that we're going into the Aquarian age and everything like that, she's going to play a very big role in keeping things like Roe versus Wade in place and securing rights for LGBTQT and things. I think she's going to blow people's minds. She's going to be the opposite of being a conservator because she comes from a diverse family background. She has adopted children from Haiti, and I really think her having these powerful cards, she was initiated early on. She always was top of her class, best teacher. Everyone has like very positive things to say about her. Far as her policies, they say they may not really like her policies because she can seem a little strict, but I think it seems strict because she's being that mother.
Yeah.
She's being that bitch. And as women, we're looked at as being strict when we're being a bitch, or we're exuding that power. But I think she's going to do it in such a profound way for Black women, all women. So I'm excited to just see it play out all the way.
Yeah, totally. Now, this is the United States spread last year, and the Queen of Clubs was a transformation card. This is a marker. When we look at the Grand Soul spread, this is the United States of Jack of Diamonds sitting here, and it was sitting in Mars and Saturn, and the Six of Clubs.
The crown line is cut off a little bit.
You see the crown line? Okay. The Four of Clubs was in the crown line last year. So this is the Jack of Diamonds, and Trump was Mercury last year to the Jack of Diamonds, and the Queen of Clubs is the transformation card, and that's a marker. And also Jupiter is the Five of Hearts. So we look at this energy and we look to see when stuff like this shows up, it's a marker to tell us, it's pointing in a direction to tell us where it was going. So we know that next year is a Five of Hearts year. So the Five of Hearts sitting in Jupiter. We know that next year, Five of Hearts year, Queen of Clubs is a challenging karma card. So Five of Hearts is a card of autism. It's literally the card of autism and special needs. And it's a very interesting card. It's a 5, and 5s are here to live, here to expand, here to see, 5s don't want to be restricted, and it's a Five of Hearts, and it's a card of autism, and it's sitting in Jupiter, and the Queen of Clubs is a challenging karma card, and the Queen of Clubs is the transformation card. So she absolutely is going to be a champion for people with special needs. Me and Aquarius talk all the time about how in the Three of Hearts year, transgender and all of those things, now it's just folded into everything. It's just like it is a part of the fiber. So in the Four of Hearts year, all things are going to start being folded in. And the Five of Hearts is definitely going to be the lead. People with special needs. And hey, I have special needs. So yeah, we are definitely going to have a better voice and be able to put ourselves out there and be supported. So you're going to look at special needs children, special needs adults, and they'll have the support of the Queen of Clubs, who is a mother. She's a mother. She's the mother to the world, and she's challenging this energy and the the transformation card. And the moon card to it is the Two of Spades, and that's opportunity. So this is her opportunity. So when we look at it, look at the energies and see how the energies are playing out, it makes sense. This is a Nine of Diamonds. It's saying that things are going to change. It's going to change, whether you like it or not. It is. And what you said about those things, we're going in Aquarian age. None of those things are going to matter. They're not. The way we see government and the way we view government is not going to be anything how we see it today. So she will be a catalyst that's going to build the bridges of change, because it's not going to make Roe versus Wade and all those things will be immaterial. It's not going to matter. It's just not. Government is collapsing, and And in Aquarian age, it's not going to be nothing like we see it. So this makes sense with this being in Jupiter, the Five of Hearts. And then when we go to this year, where does the Five of Hearts at? The Five of Hearts, the United States is sitting in Neptune. So we pretty much can't believe anything that they say, and because they're sitting in Neptune. Neptune is a Jack of Diamonds, and because we know the United States is not a spiritual place, we should not be believing anything that they ever say this year. It's a lie. The word is a lie. And the Five of Hearts is Pluto. Now remember, anything that Pluto touches, it's transformed forever. So the Five of Hearts was Jupiter, which is that last year, it just expanded the energy, the blessings. And you can see the blessings because we don't pay attention, but school shut down. Who benefited from that? Special needs children. They had to go home with their parents, and their parents had to take a look at it. They had to really take a look at how much damage was being done to their children in school. Right? So it was a blessing in disguise. You know, it may not have started out that way, but it meant that you had to look at things and things had to be done better. And things are being done differently, even in schools now. And it's benefiting everybody on a certain level as they're building it out to see how school will be now. But the Five of Hearts and Pluto says it's never going to be the same for a special needs child. It's never, because Pluto transforms it. It hits it, and it's going to be different. Right? Anybody have any questions?
I do. You know, when I was watching Amy Coney Barrett and her children, I think her one young son might have special needs. It seemed like they really had to care for him, the other kids around there, and he was very shy to come up and be at the podium with them, and it just appeared to me, it just caught my eye. And now that you're saying all this, it would make a lot of sense, right?
It would make a lot of sense.
And I want to say there's an article out that I read, I can't recall where, that one of her children does have a special need or some sort of disability.
Yeah, I think it's that young boy, the youngest boy. It's not one of the adopted ones. It's her youngest boy, I think.
Yep.
So we're gonna look at her transformation. Well, not really. I don't think it's called a transformation, but we're gonna look at a Queen of Clubs, and that's for anybody who is a Queen of Clubs. We're gonna look at when it started for her on her journey to where she got to, and that was at age. Darren, are you here? I don't think Darren came in. The Queen of Clubs. What am I looking at?
So what are you looking for specifically?
Pluto. There it goes. I'm at age. This is age spread 39. So when she was 39, she's 48 now, right? So when she was 39, she was sitting in Pluto. Now, this is important for everybody because when you're sitting in Pluto here, you're starting your ascension. This is your ascension, and it'll make sense as I go forward. But this is where she was sitting. And remember, Pluto hits and it transforms. So this is the Jack of Spades. This is the initiate. This is the card of opening doors right here. And it sits in Pluto. So it's telling you that if you know how to access this energy, it's on and popping, right? So this happened for her at age 39, right? And this is where you put in the work. So you watch where you go for that. You wherever you find your card sitting in Pluto, then you're going to see, it's going to tell you what you have to do to unlock where we're going. And she was sitting in Mars, Uranus. So this is talking about the future. Uranus is the future. So she had to unlock her karmas, and the Seven of Clubs is the challenging karma card. Now, the Seven of Clubs is the supportive karma card to the Sun, which is the Eight of Diamonds. So she's being challenged by the Seven of Clubs. And the supportive karma card sitting right there is the Jack of Spades, the card of opening doors. This is her ascension. Six of Spades is the supporting card. It was fated to happen, and it's going to take time. Six is all mean is cause and effect. Everything that you're doing is going to become it's going to benefit on how much you put in. And she had double sixes. She had six of clubs and a six of spades. Everybody get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this was her. This was at 40. So when we look and we go to 41, we're looking at her. She's dropped down to Saturn, Uranus. Now that means you got to do the work. The challenging karma card is the Eight of Diamonds. That's the Seven of Clubs. Is a supporting karma card. Anytime you see a Seven of Clubs, you see an Eight of Diamonds. Anytime you see an Eight of Diamonds, you see a Seven of Clubs. And that's what last year was, right? The Seven of Clubs, right? So she's in Saturn. Saturn, Uranus. That's talking about do the work. If you do the work, this is where you're going. The supporting card was a Seven of Diamonds. The Seven of Diamonds in Saturn, do the work. This is the Millionaire's card. Right? Everybody getting it? Because you're going to want to look at your card. So this
Yeah.
is every might say something. Look at where she's sitting at now. She's sitting in the crown. Right? That's her sitting in the crown line at age 42. She did the work. She's sitting in the crown line. The card that's supporting her is the Eight of Diamonds, right? She has the King of Spades as her Mercury card. Can't nobody touch her. Absolutely nobody can touch her, right? Everybody see that? Now, this is every Queen of Clubs. This is just not her. This is any Queen of Clubs. So after she left the crown line, look at where she is. She's in Uranus, Mercury. This is the future. The Ten of Diamonds is the challenging karma card. Now remember, the Queen of Clubs is a challenging karma card to the Ten of Diamonds. So she's sitting in Uranus, and the Queen of Spades is supporting her. Self-mastery, right? So we go down to, this is age number 44. So 44 is pre-birth. So this is when you're in the incubator. This is starting all over again. She's sitting in Jupiter, Jupiter. Right? When we go, we follow her ascension at 45. This is rebirth. She has started all over again. So now she gets to unlock her birth spread. Right? Only thing different is the Ace of Clubs. Two of Clubs is supporting her, and the Ace of Clubs is at 45. The Nine of Hearts, the Wish card, is Venus, Venus. Isn't that amazing? And the Eight of Diamonds is sitting in the Sun.
Wow.
When we go down to 46, she's sitting in Mercury, Mercury. This is the this is coming into chaos. This is the Ace of Hearts. This is, where before we came into, left the garden. So this is her ascension to where she is going. She's sitting in Jupiter, Uranus. That's the future. Blessed future. And she goes to Jupiter, Neptune. until she reaches, she's 48 now, isn't she? Isn't she 48?
Yeah, she just turned 48 on her last birthday.
She's 48 and she is sitting in Jupiter right here. And she is the transformation card to the Jack of Diamonds. This is the 10 of clubs.
Wow.
The 10 of clubs in the sun is the government. The government is sitting in the sun, right? The 3 of diamonds is crowning the Jack of diamonds.
Wow.
Does everybody get that?
Yes.
Can you repeat that last part about the Jack of Diamonds?
The Queen of Clubs is the transformation card to the Jack of Diamonds.
Oh, okay.
Now, Jack of Diamonds, Mercury calls the King of Clubs. That's the law. That's universal law. This is universal law in effect right now. This isn't the law that we think of. This is universal law. So universal law is at play in her spread. Okay, so universal law is here working this out. The 9 of Spades is the support and karma card, right? So she totally, the Queen of Clubs totally has would be someone that you would look at that would make sense. If you were a doula, it would make sense that you would be building toward, you would be, the Queen of Clubs would be building toward bringing everybody to the table. Because when we look at COVID, we look and we see that during COVID, pregnant women were not allowed to go to hospitals. So now you would look at the Queen of Clubs being the mother to the world, using that energy of sitting down before people. So, yeah, she's absolutely going to transform things because we're going into Aquarius. And all of the things that used to be are no longer. Just isn't. So it's going to look so much different. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody have any questions? No? How many people are in here?
Well, I have a question. With the Queen of Clubs being in Jupiter, Neptune, would that mean like big deception? Is that a possibility?
On the low side, yeah. On the low side, you think of it, but in Neptune, you just think of, you have to vet it. It's not that Neptune is deception. It is what it is. It's just that you have to pay attention because Neptune is just it. That's the energy of Neptune. You have to pay attention and vet it. It is, that's just the attributes of that planet. It's just that illusionary effect. It's just Neptune can blindside you because you don't see it coming, right? So it's just saying, yeah, you got to pay attention. And because she has so much Jack of Spades, unfortunately, you have to pay attention. As long as she's on the high side of her cards, she's good. But remember, the Jack of Spades is one of the most powerful cards in the deck, because the Jack of Spades, when you look at the Jack of Spades, let me go back here so we can look at the Jack of Spades and how influential the Jack of Spades is. The Jack of Spades, when we look at the crown, we look at the Jack of Spades. This is the crown line, and the Jack of Spades is the gatekeeper. The Jack of Spades sits in Pluto, so the Jack of Spades transforms everything. So if you needed to sit with the king or the queen, you had to go through the Jack of Spades. So the Jack of Spades got to be around all kinds of people. So the Jack of Spades got to wear lots of masks. The Jack of Spades really didn't have a job. It just was it just ran the palace. You think about they were the entertainers. They taught the children. That was the purpose of the Jack of Spades. They were the head of the royal army, so they had a lot of power. So when people say you got to be careful about Jack of Spades, you have to be careful about everybody. But people feel that way about a Jack of Spades because it's hitting you where you are. Jack of Spades, you want something from Jack of Spades. Jack of Spades are called opening doors. So if you want something from the Jack of Spades, you got to look at yourself. You can't look at the Jack of Spades. The Jack of Spades is going to hit you where you are. It's literally the card of opening doors. It's going to open the door that you want. Now, if you not honorable, then it's on you. It's not on the Jack of Spades. And we have to get away from that kind of ideology of thinking. We have to no, because once you're looking out, you've already lost the battle. It's always about you. The moment you start looking out, you have stepped into the mundane. In the spiritual plane, it's a exchange of energies. And this is one of the most powerful cards in the deck. Why wouldn't you want to use it to your benefit? Right?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any more questions about the grand solar squares? Joy.
So if you were trying to see, like, once, let's say she is confirmed, and if you were trying to see how she was going to react with the United States in that position, would you look at, will we continue her grand solar squares for her age, or will we flip back to the United States, or will we compare them side by side?
We look for markers. You look for markers. You know, the markers are going to tell you, you have to have something specific that you're looking for. What would you be looking for? You have to have something specific. And if you're looking for something specific, we would look in the United States spread, because that's the energy.
I got it. That's the commonality. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like, say, for instance, everybody's concerned about Roe v. Wade. Okay. And so, how would somebody solar squares to kind of get a sense, possibly, of, or can you not use the cards for that?
Sure, you can, but you would just, for me, it's just political. For me, it doesn't, I wouldn't, because every time there's a Supreme Court appointee, that's all they talk about is Roe v. Wade. There's a whole lot going on in the world rather than Roe v. Wade.
True,
You're speaking about somebody protecting somebody's right to have an abortion as opposed to someone educating you not to get pregnant. It's just ridiculous. That's why when Aquarius hits, it's going to look so stupid. It really is. It's going to look ridiculous when we get into Aquarius, when Saturn hits Aquarius, because it's going to be like, are you really having this conversation? Why you get pregnant? Why do you need to have a right to have an abortion when you just don't get pregnant? But that's the kind of conversation Aquarius is going to have. Cut and dry. You know what I mean? So protecting somebody's rights is kind of political. This is all politicized, and because the Jack of Diamonds is sitting in Neptune, Saturn, we have to really think about it. Everything that they say and everything that they do, the Jack of Diamonds sells the deal. They don't work. Jack of Diamonds is not a worker. It's a deal seller. It'll sell you the deal. It's going to sell you the deal. And that's what they're doing, is selling you a deal about something. What is the deal about? It's the Supreme Court justice. If you go back for as long as I've lived, that's what they, I can remember. It's them talking about Roe v. Wade. It's a trigger. As soon as you say that, it triggers people. And it's like when we look at the government, you have the Nine of Diamonds in Mars. This is the United States, and the Nine of Diamonds is hit. It's sitting in Mars, and that's Pluto. So if you're a Nine of Diamonds, this is at 64, it's transformative. So you thinking about values, you thinking about how you used to do things and how you used to, it's not going to be that way. Nine of Diamonds sitting in Pluto is saying you got to let all that go. Now, if you don't, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. All the stuff that you think about, that you hold on to in Pluto, it's not going to matter. It's not. You missing the picture, because the Nine of Diamonds is literally saying it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's sitting in Pluto. That's letting go. That's letting go of a lot. You looking at money changing. Money is going to change in ways that, we don't know until we get there. But, you're looking at all things Nine of Diamonds. So your values are going to change. People had conversations back in the day about why are we fighting for having abortion instead of educating young women about, their bodies. That's traumatic. You should have a right to have it. There are cases and reasons why, sure, but that's traumatic. How can you avoid that trauma? So those are the conversations that I'm pretty sure she'll be having, because when we look at the Queen of Clubs, what's the challenging karma card? The Nine of Diamonds. So she has to line up with Pluto. Does that make sense, Glenda?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? No? Well, that was is everybody still there?
Yes, excellent.
Still here.
That was
Yeah.
easy to follow.
Yeah, I'm just reflecting. This was a lot to consider with, the how you broke down the positions of in politics. So this was great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so when you look at the grand solar squares, find the plate that has this is what you find, your plate. So every plate has your card. Like this is the Queen of Diamonds sitting in Pluto, and my birthday right here, and I am a Queen of Diamonds. So I'm looking for, because the Queen of Diamonds is my personality card. The card that is the higher card of your suit is your personality card. That's who you are evolving to be, the highest of your suit. So the highest of my suit is the Queen of Diamonds. So it's sitting in Pluto. So that means for me that there's going to be some amazing stuff happening. This is where it starts at 63 for me. And that's pretty darn amazing. I'm totally here for it. The Three of Diamonds. Well, this is why, Donald Trump right here sitting in Pluto last year, guys. So this is why you look at his ascension. If you look at Donald Trump sitting in Pluto, we can pretty much say who the president is going to be, right? Right? According to what we just went through, right?
Yeah.
Because at next year is 65, the Three of Diamonds sits in the sun. So the whatever the outcome is, it'll probably be next year before and we know anything. But the Three of Diamonds sits in the sun. This is his rise. So whether he's a president or whatever he is determined to be, he's good. And we see that by 60 in United States spread, he's in Jupiter at 67. So the only thing that I see is that only thing that I see that is the gotcha is that the King of Hearts, which is Biden, his transformation card is a Three of Diamonds. So that's the only thing, is that his transformation card this year is a Three of Diamonds. So this shakeup could be that the person who's transforming into the Three of Diamonds can be the president, but it's going to be the Three of Diamonds energy either way. But that's the caveat, that he could very well, you know.
And if he transforms into the Three of Diamonds, that means he could meet an early demise also.
What do you mean?
Like, is there any sort of illness or death energy surrounded with that transformation? Because it's definitely going to be a Three of Diamonds, and he's transforming to a Three of Diamond. Could that mean his work is complete, and then Kamala would then be president? Right?
You're so disrespectful.
I mean, I was trying. You heard me fishing for the words.
How old is he? Is he 70? He's 77.
I think he's in his late 70s. I was really trying to. I was like,
yeah, he's 77.
He's 77.
He's 77, and at 77, he's sitting in Uranus, with the Ten of Diamonds challenging him, and he has a pretty good. The Two of Clubs is Kamala, and she's Jupiter. So that's the only gotcha. And see, he has a Three of Diamonds. Is his what?
Is that his transformation card?
Yeah.
Transformation.